Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. I'm your host, Splen Splendorio. Joining me today is Mayor John Marchand from the beautiful city of Livermore. Welcome, John.
Thank you very much. Always good to be here, Splen.
It's good to see you, John. Hey, there's always great things happening in Livermore. Let's start off the show with something you'd like to share with our viewers.
Well, probably the biggest thing right now, the thing that everybody's talking about, is Veterans Park. Now, Veterans Park is the real issue, but what everybody wants to make the issue out is out of Eden housing. And the two are somewhat related, but on Monday night we made a very big decision regarding the entire development. Now, you may remember that back in May of 2022, I was not on the council, by the way. I was not there, but in fact, 3 of the council members were not there, so we've got a whole new set. But what happened is in May of 2022, there was the council agreed to a development and disposition agreement with Eden Housing to develop the site at Livermore Village. And so there has been more misinformation about this site than I think any other development in the city of Livermore, certainly in my history with the Livermore. What it was, they decided that they were going to go ahead with this, and part of the group of many names, it's the same people behind it, but they just keep changing names. So it's, Central Citizens for Central Park, or Move Eden Housing, or Save Livermore Downtown. All these, the same people. So they filed a lawsuit, and actually they filed a referendum. They collected signatures to have a referendum, and the city attorney, recognizing that what was accomplished at the May 22 meeting was administrative. So the courts have ruled that administrative acts, the things that cities do to run their business, those are not referendable. Now, policy decisions, legislative decisions, those changes, those are referendable. So this land was bought in 2007 to be used for affordable housing. In 2009, the state required a deed restriction requiring that low-income housing or affordable housing go on this site. So that's what it is. Well, then they collected signatures for this referendum and filed them with the city. Well, the city attorney recognized that what was done was an administrative act, which was not referendable. So he told the city clerk, don't process this because it's not a referendable action. So Move Eden Housing, or MEH, sued, and it went to trial court, and the judge said, no, this is an administrative act. This is not referendable. Well, then it eventually ended up in the appellate court, and the appellate court, and how they twisted themselves into knots on this one really astonishes me. But they did, and they ruled that the one element of the downtown development that everybody wanted, the park, the creation of the park, was the only act that was referendable. It was the only thing that the courts ruled was a legislative act. Now, I have drawings of this park from December 2019. So it's been in the plan. But somehow the courts ruled, no, we believe that was the first administrative record of the council approving a park. So the sale of the property was administrative. The limit of liability, all of those other elements, those were all administrative. And the court agreed with that. The one element that they said was legislative was the creation of the park, and therefore the park had to go away. Now, the language in the referendum, and it very clearly states, it says, we ask that the legislative acts contained in said resolution be entirely repealed by the city council. That was their first act. If the council didn't repeal it, then it goes to the election code and requires a vote of the people. But what the city council did is, rather than delay this for another 6 months, the council just said, all right, we will do what they asked. We will repeal the legislative act, which was the creation of the park. The other stuff, that's administrative. We don't have to worry about that. So we accepted the referendum, and per the referendum, we repealed the legislative act, and then we took another companion resolution which reauthorized the administrative acts, which the courts had already ruled were not referendable, and we passed those. So those are the three actions that we took.
All right, so John, what does this all mean? Does that mean, does it mean that...
Cut to the chase, right?
No, not cut to the chase, but I mean, obviously I think, because I sat there and listened, I mean, the next step is city will probably get sued again, and it'll go through the courts again. But I think what maybe viewers would like to know is, will this ever get resolved?
Yes. As long as there are people that have money to sue this, they're going to. One of the speakers said that in all the years that he's worked on projects, this was the group that was most adept at throwing rocks in the gears. And so we often hear from people, well, why don't you do what the people want? Listen to the people. Hear that all the time. Well, we did listen to the people. In the last 3 elections, the city council members that supported Eden Housing were all returned to office. Now, at the council meeting on Monday night, we heard from 82 people that supported the city council's action. 13 spoke against it. That's 6-1. So if somebody tells me you have to listen to the public, okay, I got 3 elections and I've got overwhelming public support at the council meetings. Who should I be listening to? I'm listening to the people. Now, what this means is that Eden Housing, the sale of the property was administrative, so that went through. So that can be built. Eden Housing can be built. That's going to be, and there again, so much misinformation. I've been told that, oh, this is a giant homeless refuge, and no, it's for working families. And 16 units are reserved for people that were formerly homeless, and recognizing that most of the people in the Tri-Valley that are homeless are seniors. These are people, senior citizens that are living in their cars. And this really is an opportunity to give them a second chance at life, a quality of life, similar to what we did at Chestnut Square. So we are listening to the people. Eden Housing can continue to move forward with the construction. It's delayed the construction of the park for a year because by adopting the referendum, we have to wait for a year before we can start the project again. But there was the advantage of doing it at the council meeting, because if we had to put it to an election, that would delay the construction of the park for another 6 months. And we didn't want to do that. So it's going to move ahead. Veterans Park is going to wait for a year, but the city is committed to Veterans Park. We've already allocated the funding for it. And so that will move ahead. So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a delay. As you mentioned, they're probably going to sue again. But this is a very small group of people that, because they're all very wealthy, it carries an outside influence. Okay. And that's what it went through the courts, and we'll continue to work on this, but the city of Livermore continues to be committed to listen to the people and to serve those and to protect those that are most vulnerable in our community.
Oh, that's been very clear. That's very clear. I do want to talk a little bit about a phone scam that your police department put out some notice to the residents that seemed that like something pops up, an ad or something pops up on your phone, asking you to check your email, and it turns out to be just a fraud. You might give our viewers a little heads up on what they should be looking for and be aware in case they get a message on their phone.
Sure, absolutely. And cyber criminals are getting more and more clever. And one of the things that they do is they want to shock people and scare them into immediately hitting a link or clicking on something in the email because they want that gut reaction. I was actually talking to my IT director a couple days ago, and he said that actually what cyber criminals do is they will deliberately put misspellings or strange phraseology into an email because they're selectively going after people that aren't paying attention. And you've gotten emails before. It's like, we is investigating. Well, they deliberately do that in order to try to trick people that are not paying attention. It increases their return on their investment. So what happens is somebody calls up, or they get a text, or they get an email that said, we are with this bank or this financial institution, and we suspect that there is some nefarious illegal activity, and we need your help. We, the government, need your help to catch these bad people. So we suggest that you go out and buy a bunch of gift cards. Now, what use does the city of Livermore have with gift cards? What use does the FBI have with gift cards? So they don't. Or gold bars, cash in your money and get gold bars. We will send a certified carrier to your house to collect that, and then we will redeposit these, and then we can come and catch the person that's doing this. Well, what happens is you withdraw your money, you buy gold bars, their certified courier comes and picks them up, and you never hear from anybody again. So when you get an email like this or a text, don't respond to it. Go to the phone book, and boy, there's an antiquated term.
There aren't any more phone books, John.
Go to go to the number for your banking institution. Look them up specifically, and then dial that number. But I've gotten some really, really well done email scams. And I've actually sent them to the bank and said, you guys need to be aware of this, because this is really good.
Sorry, so John, if any of our viewers receive something like that, or fearful that they have received something, can they contact your police department?
They can contact the police, or there's an Internet Crime Complaint Center, which is www.ic, as in Charlie, ic3.gov. So www.ic3.gov, that's the Internet Crime Complaint Center. But if you get an email, get a text, don't respond to them. They're just trying to get you to take that reflexive action and click on something, and then they've downloaded their malware, they've got control of your computer and your information.
So well said by the son of a police chief.
That's right.
We need to take a short break, but we'll be right back on this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. We are here talking with Mayor John Marchand. Welcome back, John.
Good to be back.
Let's talk about something we've talked about in the past, general plan update. Recently, your council considered some recommendations from your planning commission. Can you tell us a little bit about those recommendations and what your city council did or did not do with them?
Well, certainly. So we've got a citizen panel. It was started out, we had 19 people on the panel. I started out there, and then I got promoted, so I'm no longer on the panel. But they're looking at the zoning and recognizing the importance of maintaining the inventory for lands zoned for housing, commercial, industrial. This is going to last us for the next 25 years. So they're looking at all of these things. We recognize that we have our regional housing needs assessment numbers, those RHNA numbers, as I said. So we were looking at these certain focus areas in the city. One of them is the Laughlin Road area. And while there's going to be some development out there, the majority is going to remain open space. Along Vasco Row, as we call it, there's going to be some maker space and wine country retail commercial sorts of things, delis, bike shops, those sorts of things. Then also Midtown, that's going to be where the Valley Link station is. That's going to be a mix of uses. It's going to be a complete walkable neighborhood, similar to the Isabel Neighborhood Specific Plan, where you're going to have live spaces, work spaces, and this transit center. So they're all coming together. One of the things that the Planning Commission did decide was to take Greenville east of Greenville off the table. They're going to perhaps consider it sometime in the future, not this go around. And then depending on what the inventory is of those uses that I mentioned before, depending on what the need is, set the criteria for if and when we would ever look at east of Greenville. But for right now, east of Greenville is off the table. The city has never had plans. Despite what you may have read in some of the local, in one of the local papers, the city has never had plans to develop east of Greenville.
Okay. So will these decisions be incorporated somehow into the update?
So what they're going to do is they're going to start working on the specifics of these plans, developing the environmental work behind it, so then it can come back as a complete plan, and then to review and renew the general plan.
All right, and that process.
That'll be coming back.
So
about another year.
Another year or so. All right, John. Here's something that's I know school just ended, but
it's coming back.
It's always coming back, right? And can you give our viewers some background on Tri-Valley Haven, and also its annual summer backpack drive?
Sure. Tri-Valley Haven is an amazing organization. They work with families that have been abused and people that have been experiencing homelessness. So they've been working for 45 years in the Tri-Valley, and they were just recognized as the nonprofit of the year by Senator Steve Glazer. So that underscores the great work that they're doing. Well, they have a backpack drive every year. Last year, over 600 children benefited from this backpack drive. So they've got much needed school supplies, scissors, pens, paper, rulers, notebooks, calculators for high school kids. So they're geared to different ages. The more simple stuff for the elementary kids, the more advanced stuff, the binders, the calculators, and those sorts of things for the high school kids. But really what they need people to either donate backpacks or go online to their website. And if you haven't got the time to go down to the store, Costco or Target to get the backpacks, make an online contribution, because then they can buy specifically what they need. As I said, last year they helped over 600 kids. You can go to the Tri-Valley Haven Administration Building, which is at 3663 Pacific Avenue. It's just down from the City Hall, from the back of City Hall, and where the old the trail used to be for the city council meetings. So it's just down at 3663 Pacific Avenue. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or go to their website and make a donation there. And that's they'll take donations through July 19th. So you have plenty of time.
All right, so probably trivalleyhaven.org, probably?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. John?
trivalleyhaven.org/back-to-school. So there we go. But if you get to trivalleyhaven.org, I'm sure that'll get you there.
Okay, great, John. Yeah, it's a very worthy cause and very important.
They do great work.
I'm going to ask about Spark, S-P-A-R-C. First, tell us a little bit about it, then we'll ask about your involvement in it.
Okay, this used to be the Livermore Shakespeare Festival, and then it has evolved because they're more than just Shakespeare. They did a Silent Sky last year, which is just spectacular. But it stands for Shakespeare Performing Arts Regional Company. And so that's why it's C instead of a K. And they're working on building a black box theater at Stockman Park. So where the big horseshoe is, there's a plan to have a theater right there. It's a black box theater, means it's flexible. It seats about 100 to 150 people. And it's experimental theater. So right now, Spark is putting on productions at the Darcy Kent Winery. Wonderful productions. They're doing 12th Night, which you don't really think of Shakespeare as being hysterically funny. 12th Night is hysterically funny. It involves a shipwreck. How funny is that? It also has twins.
Unless you're on the ship.
Yeah, right. But it's got twins that are separated, misidentification, a couple different love triangles are going on. It's a very clever, very funny play. So that's something that they're putting on right now. And they're also doing, after Livermore, they're moving to Danville, and you're putting on some shows in Danville as well. And they've got a summer camp for grades 3 to 5 and 6 to 8. And that's at the Spark Studio downtown, right across the street, right across Railroad Avenue from Blacksmith Square. And you can order tickets to the production of the 12th night at sparctheater.org. You can call 925-443-2273. I've attended many of their productions. It was the best production of Cyrano de Bergerac I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them. But a very talented group of local actors, and it's just a lot of fun. You're sitting there in the beautiful Livermore wine country, watching great theater and drinking great wine. It doesn't get any much better than that.
All right, and this is all at the Darcy Kent Winery, which is on Tesla Road.
Right.
Now, if folks can't make it, do you suggest they actually make the drive all the way to Danville?
The theater company is worth it. It really is. If you absolutely can't get to you got from July 5th to July 28th. So you got a fair amount of time to get there. July 5th to the 28th, Darcy Kent Vineyards. But if you can't get there, it's going to be in Danville at the Village Theater for 3 weeks in August, from August 9th to the 25th. And that also includes Sunday matinees. If you have little kids, they don't necessarily want to take out into the evening. You can take them there.
All right. Well, thank you, John. I'm not trying to, but I know your good friend Newell would appreciate a council member in Danville appreciates a little love.
But the problem is in Danville, you can't be sitting there watching the play drinking wine.
That's true.
And but in Livermore, and it's just such a beautiful venue. You're looking out at the vineyards, looking out at the hills, the sunset. It's just a beautiful place. You can take a picnic lunch with you, and it's just a remarkable time.
Thank you. That's wonderful. All right, but that's not the only thing going on in Livermore, is it?
No.
There's more going on.
There's the
highlight for our viewers.
Livermore Valley Opera. That's going to be held at Garay on August 18th. It's at 5 p.m. It's some of our great local and even some of the regional opera singers come in and sing at Garay. It's another great event. So some of the other upcoming stuff, National Night Out already. I thought we just had that. But the National Night Out, it's going to be August 6th. It's a Tuesday. Police and fire and Livermore National Laboratory, LARPD, CHP, everybody's going to be out there. And we're going to be going around to the neighborhoods. So there's last year they had 50 different block parties. I think I got to a dozen of them. But just the community coming together to get to know your neighbors, so that you recognize, okay, if he's not come out of his house, that might not be the right person. So you get to know your neighbors, you look out for your neighbors. There's also a conservation poster contest coming up, TK through 12. They're invited to participate at the library with LARPD. It's a poster contest to showcase measures to protect nature and conserve natural resources. And those are going to be accepted from July 1st to July 31st at the Livermore Library, all the locations, and the Sycamore Grove Ranger Station. So all of those. So
John, National Night Out. I know you have to apply to host the block party. You want to give our viewers some dates there?
Well, it's going to be August 6th is the date. So start registering now. Go to the City of Livermore website and register. If you aren't already a registered host or the block captains, because this is part of our Neighborhood Watch program. So you can file your neighborhood as a Neighborhood Watch participant. Register yourself as the block captain if you want, and then register your party. We also have there's a get-together beforehand where they have some really cool swag, including banners that you can put up advertising your Neighborhood Watch group. So it's a lot of fun. Register now, but look for August 6th National Night Out.
Great, John. Thank you so much for updating us. And thank you for being here and joining us. I am Splendorio. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report of Livermore right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you so much for watching.